So this is the third tutorial, and so we're just going to keep continuing on modeling. Again, we're going to continue working on the base here, but already if we turn off our main one, you can start to see kind of a resemblance of a grasshopper. So we're going to create the main part here, and then we'll slowly maybe start extruding out some legs. Okay, probably the larger one. That's probably the most exciting one, right? So let's go ahead and get started. So we're gonna go ahead and go to face mode. And also I did an increment and save. So get into the habit of that. So I'm on 001, which is bad. I should be on 002 or 3. So make sure every 5 or 6 minutes that you get into the habit of that, especially modeling with something heavy mesh like this. It could cause Maya to crash. All right, so we're gonna go ahead, shift, extrude face, and keep pulling this out. And so now we really wanna make sure there's a split between these two. All right, so just go ahead and pull that radically. And so I'm gonna split this maybe 5 times, 1. And we're gonna kind of split it with these little edges. I should probably know all these cool terms of what these edges are on an insect. Hit G, and just make sure you're not hitting G like multiple times, because sometimes on the dumpster we had edges that we found out later on that shouldn't have been there. All right, so I'm going to go into my vertex mode, and I'm going to hit 4 so I can kind of go into x-ray mode, and we're going to pull these up hitting W. So it's kind of difficult to see, but just kind of, again, get used to kind of moving around with Alt and oscillate with your left mouse button. So it should be like breathing now, kind of moving around. And then once we get into ZBrush, it'll be kind of a different interface on how to move around. All right, so I'm just moving around, and we're creating some just rough shapes. So this is probably going to be pulled in. So I think now we can probably go to 5, hit 5, which is shaded. And again, I should probably have the heads up keys where it shows you what they are. Not sure how to do it on the Mac. I know how to do it on a PC. But anyways, I'm trying to call them out as best as I can. Again, we're just using the W tool, which is the move tool, and just push these in. You just kind of want to push them in, don't push them too far. Again, this isn't symmetrical, so we're doing a little bit of an artistic impression of this. Just keep moving these down. Okay, I hit 4. Try to put them in those little crevices or nooks or whatever you want to call them. I'm sure there's an awesome scientific word for that. Okay, again, doesn't have to be perfect. We're just trying to get kind of an outer shell for this. Hit 5. Okay, and we'll probably do another split on the belly here and start pulling this out. So let's go ahead and do that again. This is making the call of like starting to add more geometry, but we want to keep it simple. So I'm going to cut right here. You can see it's adding all over the place, so that's why I don't like to add geometry at this point, but we do need to start pulling this out, round out the belly. All right, so I'm going to hit 4, and we go ahead and just kind of grab them all at one go. Hit 5, hit W, and just start pulling this out. I'll pull it out a little further than normal, and we can always push it back. Grab that, push it back just a little bit. Again, we're going to use the snap tool in just a second, but right now you just kind of want it, really, you don't want to hit that at all right now. You just kind of want this to hover so we can see where we're at with the model. All right, so that's pretty good for now. We've got a split. We've got a little bit of air gap in here between the wing and the bottom here. I'm just go ahead and pull this down a little bit. Maybe over here. This little gap here. Pull this. I have no idea what I'm doing because it's hard to see. All right, there we go. Okay, just wants a nice clear path here that these are kind of separated, two different lives, that wings are here and the base of the body is there. So I hit 5. I'm going to go ahead and do an increment save for good luck. Okay, so we're on 002, so it's pretty exciting. And let's go ahead and start on this huge leg. So I'm going to go ahead and hit 4 and see what I have. We go ahead and go face mode. And so this thing is pretty big, right? So what I'm going to do is go to vertex. Again, I want to keep my geometry simple for leg. Don't want multiple splits in there. So I'm just going to try to make this work. And again, my geometry, just look at it, try to make sure it flows correctly. So just pull that up so it's not a hard jarring right angle right here. Pulling this back a little bit. So we're going to do multiple jump outs for our leg here, but it's pretty tight in there. So I'm going to pull it up just a little bit more. Good, so go ahead and face. And again, you see it's selecting the other side, but it's only one side, so we're going to go ahead and right-click extrude. Okay, I'm going to hit 5 and try to figure out how to do this. Okay, looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is probably just grab this and hit G and start extruding up from there. All right, so I'm going to hit E. I haven't used that in a while. E and W in conjunction. We're just going to start kind of climbing up that leg, kind of like if we were a tree trunk. All right, so again, try to get your proportions going. Okay, and hit 4 sometimes, and we want this kind of flat. It's kind of wonky. Just try your best and get it out. And we'll hit 5, and again, try to make it a little big. We're trying not to split this. I would just want this as quad, so it's really simple, dead simple modeling. You're probably like, this has no detail. Believe me, we're going to get into detail. So I hit G, and when I hit W, I'm just going to pull this up by hand, and just go ahead and hit R and kind of do a rough shape of that. Again, we're going to use our snapping tool in just a second, but again, we just want some rough geometry. And you can hit F. F will snap up to just where you extruded. And again, I'm hitting R, just kind of squeezing this stuff in. And you kind of want this to be parallel. So anytime you have a chance, just kind of get that to kind of be parallel as it's going up. All right, hit G one more time. I go up. All right, and definitely just try to do this as a quad, a 4-sided, make sure it's not a triangle or anything like that. So this is really important. So if we do want to get into this, we can do multiple splits in here. And when we do rigging, that this will be perfect for rigging. So it's not 10,000 triangles and so forth. So we hit G, hit E, and just keep going around the block here, hit R. Just doing some rough shapes here. Okay, G one more time, hit W. All right, I think you guys get the idea how to do this. You don't have to watch every second, but I think it's good to just watch it once all the way through and then give it a shot. And you can always go back to the video. It should be pretty organic process. It's not like the dumpster where it's evident that you messed up, because we all recognize a dumpster, but crickets are different, they're organic, so we can kind of mess up and do our own interpretation. But again, it's hard to mess up when we have the real cricket right underneath here. So I hit G, just keep going. And you can see as I'm doing, I'm kind of rotating this geometry around. Right, again, if we were going to rig this, we would want multiple edge loops so it will bend and it won't create some really weird distortions. All right, you've probably seen that, some really bad animation or whatever. All right, almost hit Q there, which would have quit the program. That would have been awesome. All right, so we're getting there. Some weird stuff going on, but that's fine. Hit G, and so we're almost done. It's getting it thinner. So this is the cool part of the cricket. This is where the noise comes from when you hear them late at night. This is their leg that they're rubbing together, which is quite interesting. All right, so just hit G. I'm just going to really start pulling this down quickly. Just do your best to kind of hug that in. Obviously, it's getting smaller and smaller. G. And literally in about an hour and a half, you should be able to knock out this model, especially you've kind of got a device here to help you model kind of a cheating. I think it's like training wheels that you have this model underneath it. Okay, but again, it's just showing you how to use good modeling techniques. Hit E. Okay. Again, you could do Z-spheres in ZBrush, but then if you are going to rig it, you still have to retope it, which is a really painful process, which is really amazing retope tool in Maya. But again, I want you guys to learn this technique. All right, so we hit G, we're almost done, and then we'll probably stop and upload this file. Okay, get used to your E. And I'm sorry that my pop-up key is not showing up. All right, this is really weird, looks like chicken feet. I don't even know what those are, but we're just gonna go ahead and fake it. Just keep pulling this stuff down. Okay, get used to using your alt, spinning around in perspective mode so you can see where you're at. It should, like I said, it should be like second nature. G. And get used to hitting the G key, which is the last function that we just did, right? And make sure you know your hotkeys W, E, and R. Those are fundamental too. All right, so I'm just kind of whipping this around because I know I need to split out here. We're going to go ahead and hit G. We're going to do 2 more real quick. Again, the Smithsonian. We've had several students do internships at the Smithsonian. I think I've had 4 students go. So if you're interested, definitely ask me. We can start that process. Sometimes they have funding, sometimes they don't. Typically, we always have students that get a little bit of a summer stipend to do that. So if you really love this, this is a skill they really need, and they have millions of objects to work on. There's other museums around the country too that are doing this too, so it's not just the Smithsonian. We can look at others if you're really interested in doing this for summer internships. All right, so we're going to go extrude face. Also had some students go to Japan, work for Forum 8, another company that I work with. All right. Again, good modeling skills will get you jobs for sure, especially if you're fast. All right, so I hit R, squeeze that. So I'm thinking about to stop here shortly. All right, It looks awful, right? But it's looking pretty good. So if we hit, so you're like, oh, this is so polygonal. So if we hit 3, which is subdivisional or smooth, you can see actually it looks pretty good. So we hit 1 again. Keep it very minimal. If you're at this point, you have 10,000 lines. Oh my gosh, start over because you want very simple, clean lines, especially with those legs, especially with the front and the middle and the back legs. You just want quads. Make it so simple. We've got down the road, we can split this 1,000 times and start hugging the points. But again, make it very simple. You'll thank me later. And then once we get into ZBrush, then we'll get into the millions and billions of polygons. All right, so I'm going to stop here, upload this video, and again, for good luck, increment and save. And so I'm on my 3rd one. You should probably be on your 5th or 6th one so far. All right, keep going and good luck.